Mnangagwa is angry with his ministers, as a majority of them are reportedly absconding duty on a daily basis. Reports that are coming from right inside ZANU-PF, right from the sources of ZANU-PF, including Warakashi, is indicating that Mnangagwa has expressed so much anger against his ministers for those that are absconding duty almost on a daily basis. So when you hear this coming from right inside ZANU-PF, with people like Snowball Tongoga, just imagine, I saw him, I saw Gachanje, I saw Mkungurugwa, all of them indicated the same story, meaning that this is a real issue that is happening inside. Snowball Tongoga is writing that President Mnangagwa is not happy with less ministers. We expect to see some changes in 2024. I don't know what 2024 is talking about, because 2024 is already over, right? Some of these guys maybe wanted to write 2025, I don't know. Vamwe maminista anotoita mwedzi wese asingabatike muofisi shingonzi chef vari busy mazuva ano. Appointing people according to nepotism and favoritism, and considering that who is this, and then you appoint them into ministerial positions. Mnangagwa was just shooting himself in the foot. In fact, we said this from the beginning. We have always said that Mnangagwa does not look for competence. He does not look for professionalism. He doesn't look for skill and ability in people that he appoints. He appoints bootlickers. He appoints people that he makes sure that they will continue to be standing with him no matter what happens. And people that are not allowed to think. You know, he loves to work with bunheads that are only told what to think. And Mnangagwa does the thinking for them. So this is where we have this problem emanating from, where we have ministers who are said to be going for more than a month without even attending a day in office. Just imagine how much the business of government is being derailed by an individual who is being paid for doing nothing. And, you know, it's sad, really, very, very sad to see our country being run by hooligans that carry guns, thieves who are wielding guns, and they don't want to work to improve the country, but rather they want to force themselves in power, and they are even prepared to kill people for them to remain there. After remaining there, if we leave them there, what is it that they are doing? Nothing. This is exactly the mentality of witches. That's why we say this is witchcraft. You fight so hard to want to maintain that seat. When given to you, okay, and people say, okay, do it, let's see. You don't want to do anything. And yet you expect to be paid fully. You expect to have all the benefits. They are moving around with government vehicles. They are moving around, squandering coupons and the petrol and diesel that is coming from government, sleeping in hotels at the expense of the government. And yet they are not even nearby their working area. So this is really quite pathetic. And Mnangagwa should not be pretending to be angry with his people today, because his people have always been like this. In fact, he himself is like that. So you see, the characteristic that you see in the ministers is only resembling the kind of leader they have. If Mnangagwa was really a serious worker, a hard worker who was working tirelessly in his office, all his subordinates were just going to learn from him. They would not want anybody to tell them. They would just copy it from him, knowing that this man, the way that he works so hard, if he's going to catch you playing around, you are going to be in for it, because he himself works hard. But they look at Mnangagwa and see how playful he is with work, with serious business of government. And then they see that no, which means nobody can have a problem. You can do what you want here and nobody will question it. And that is the unfortunate incident and scenario that we find ourselves in our country. Zimbabwe can never rise, no matter what people may try to do. As long as the driving engine of the country, which happens to be government, are so playful to this extent and nobody cares about it, then we are going nowhere. We are not going to recover. Zimbabwe needs to recover. And the recovery of Zimbabwe, it takes hard work. People that will really dedicate themselves to working to improve Zimbabwe and to make sure that they tighten up screws and making sure that each one pulls, in the same direction. Everyone doing what is expected of them. That and only that is what will change Zimbabwe. So as for Mnangagwa, he can continue to dream on. Even if he can be angry with those ministers and do what and what. You want to be angry once after 5 years. He was supposed to have rebuked these people from long back. His government has never been a serious government from day one. So for him to want to pretend today to be angry, we don't even know what Mnangagwa is angry about, because he has no goals to achieve. He has no direction, no goals whatsoever. Mnangagwa is just living. And that is the unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in Zimbabwe. So, family, indeed, Zimbabwe will never rise. Zimbabwe will never change. We definitely need ministers that will work, leaders that will dedicate themselves to the progress and prosperity of the country. That's when we can begin to enjoy the fruit of our labor. Otherwise, Zimbabwe will remain a basket case. Zimbabwe will remain a painful nation to live in. Zimbabwe will remain a country that just torments its own people. All because we don't have proper leaders. We do need leaders and politicians that will come to change the situation that we face in Zimbabwe. And that is very possible. And that is possible. It can happen in our lifetime. And our time has come for us to fight and make sure that we put the right people in the right offices. And once that happens, Zimbabwe will just flow. It will just flow. Everything will just fall into place. Nobody will be still pushing anybody to do work, because as long as we have the right team will deliver. The right team will do what they need to do, and Zimbabwe will produce a result. Zimbabwe is able to rise to become one of the greatest nations in Africa, but owing to ZANU-PF, we will not go anywhere. ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa must go. Our prayer is that this season of change must continue to be a reality and must bring the results of freedom for Zimbabwe. Family, I want to appreciate you and to thank you so much for supporting the platforms. This platform, Chatufa TV Productions, as well as Live with Chatufa. Let's continue to be supportive, liking, sharing, also sharing the links, and also inviting some other people to also come and share with us, pray with us as we pray for our nation. Freedom is coming and Zimbabwe shall be free. Remain blessed till we meet again tomorrow. Shalom.